Welcome back, Angela here, and today I want to talk about what the symptoms are of being in a scapegoat family, something I'm very familiar with. Do you feel unfairly blamed or criticised in your family of origin, no matter what you do? And are you often singled out of the cause of the problems within your family? So I'm going to go into that in this video. So being the scapegoat in a family isn't just about the occasional unfair treatment. It's pervasive pattern, so it's continuous, and it can deeply affect your self-esteem and mental health. Okay, so understanding these dynamics of a scapegoat family can help you realize and address these harmful patterns. And the thing is, you might not even realize that you are the scapegoat. It took me many years to realize that that's actually what it was, and I don't think it was really widely available. Like there wasn't information widely available when I was younger to actually work out that that's how I was being treated, and that's what it was. You know, it's a pattern basically. So, you know, people just don't realise that the scapegoat can shape their perception of themselves, relationships. So this role is often perpetuated through dysfunctional family dynamics. They do highlight the importance of identifying these patterns to break free from the damaging effects of them in the first place. So it's all very well knowing that you were in it, but to actually, you need to work with somebody basically to understand how to get out of that, how psychological impacts basically of how it's affected you over the years. So if you ignore the signs, it can lead to long-term emotional issues and bring you sort of a lot of self-worth. I know that I struggled with knowing what my true self was, knowing what I should be doing. I was always very much into sort of art, and I was very creative when I was younger, and that was kind of, you know, taken away from me in effect. A lot of the time I was blamed for a lot of problems. There was a lot of lies and deceit within my family, and funnily enough, I was the one that was then named as the liar or the deceptor. Other things were going on within the family that wanted to be kept quiet, shall we say. And it does get to, and I've dealt with a lot of people that get to my sort of age, in your 40s, and you're kind of like, oh, you know that there's something wrong. And it took me to stop drinking. That was one of the things I realised when I stopped drinking, was how toxic my family was, and I was using alcohol to mask that. So you may experience strained family relationships, but you don't know why, and find it really difficult to be around family members as well, particularly if you don't really understand the family dynamics. You might just find as you get older that being around your family is really stressful, but you can't really work out why, and you kind of leave the sort of, you know, you could go to, say, a family gathering, and then you leave and you're like, oh, but you kind of get this sense of relief when you're not there anymore, and you're like you can breathe and you can be yourself again, because being yourself within a family environment, it's not good. You get, you know, there's looks, there's memories that get brought up even at a sort of an older age. Also, it's the active denial that family members will have towards you as well. It's addressing these dynamics because they'll continue. It will just carry on. So it's recognising the signs. So here are some common signs of being scapegoated. They include the constant blame, criticism, and feeling like you can never do anything right. So pay attention to whether or not you're being fairly targeted, you know, for family issues that probably nothing actually to do with you, more to do with them. So understanding the dynamics as well, like I've said. So recognising scapegoating is often a way for dysfunctional families to project their issues onto one another, or one member, sorry, should I say. So diverting attention from their own problems, which majority of them have many. So this knowledge can help you just see the bigger picture, and obviously then, you know, you can learn that you're not actually the problem. And then you can seek support. So you can talk to trusted friends. Now, the funny thing is, before I actually even realised that that's what the role assigned to me was scapegoat, I was talking to a friend of mine that I've been friends with since I was 6 years old, and neither of us really spoke about our, you know, things that had gone on when we were younger, and we'd both grown up in quite dysfunctional families, shall we say, and kind of sought solace in each other by just having an absolute laugh when we were younger, really, you know, and that was going back to sort of being kids, but now when we've spoken about it sort of more recently, we've kind of sort of, you know, said, oh, like, you know, do you remember this? Like, oh, how could we have not known? But if you don't have the knowledge back then, and you know, I'm in my 40s now, we didn't have the internet, so we didn't have access to this type of knowledge that you have access to now. So you can really read up on this. You don't have to sort of, you know, you don't have to suffer in silence. There are plenty of support groups. You can talk to friends, and you can talk to but members outside of your family as well. If you struggle to talk to people because your name has been darkened, shall we say, within your family of origin, there's plenty of support groups that you can go to. So if this is what you're struggling with, you can get external perspectives that will help you validate your experiences and offer you support. So all of those times that you were accused, perhaps, because this is what happened to me, I was accused of a lot of things that I didn't do, but I had nobody to back me up. So I just, and I was like, oh, the unfairness of it all. But by speaking to therapists, by speaking to support groups, you realise that you're not the only one, and that this happens to other people as well. And that the main thing that these people thrive on is the fact that they think you're not going to talk to anyone. So by sharing your experiences with trusted people, remember they must be trusted. Don't just go about talking to, anyone that will listen. Seek out some support groups. That's a really, really good way of being able to, validate what you went through, because essentially that's what you need to do. So, and establishing boundaries as well. So I've gone down the route of no contact because that was best for myself and my mental health, but that's not something that I suggest to everybody to do, and that is down to individual choice. Boundaries that protect you and your mental health. So these can be limiting the amount of contact that you have with certain family members, limiting the amount that you share with family members as well. And this can be as close as your mum or dad. So don't be ashamed if you have been treated like this your whole life. Limiting the information that they have that they can use against you is probably a wise move. And it's communicating your limits very, very clearly and being very assertive about that. And it's something you probably might not be used to doing. So again, the support groups and seeking help on this is paramount to your healing. So focusing on self-care as well. So prioritising your well-being, engaging in activities that boost your self-esteem and mental health. Again, with these support groups, they're brilliant. There's plenty of them out there. And self-compassion. Reminding yourself that you're not to blame for your family's issues. You were chosen as a scapegoat because they wanted to cover up their own shortcomings. That is essentially what it is. And realising that can be so freeing, believe me, it really can. But it takes a while for that to sink in. So don't be too tough on yourself. Find these support groups, reach out for help, and just understand that you're not the problem. If your family are open to this, and some families are, you can address and resolve dysfunctional patterns. And if not, then, say you've got children, and sometimes this is how people realise that they're from dysfunctional families, is because they then end up in a healthy family, and then they realise, oh, this is what a healthy family behaves like. They don't put each other down. They don't constantly try and belittle each other. They don't constantly try and pick at each other. It's your chance to start again, particularly if you have children, because that's not how children should be treated. And that was particularly triggering in my journey, was having a daughter that came to the sort of age where I was ostracised by my family for things that weren't necessarily my fault. And I thought, well, I couldn't imagine ever treating my daughter like that. It was just like a bit of a realisation, like, whoa, oh, hold on a minute. If I can't imagine ever treating my daughter like that, then how could my family? Because they're dysfunctional. That's how. Because there's something wrong in that family dynamic. There's something wrong with them. So, that's kind of a realisation, and that's something that you might need the help with. Okay, so that's something that you might need to seek help with, because it's something that might trigger you when you have children, or when they get to a certain age, that perhaps you realise, oh, hold on a minute, I would never treat my child like that. Why did my family treat me like that? And that can be a point of realisation as well. You might need some help moving through that by a professional. And that's what I needed. So that's something to consider as well. And the whole point of this is just realising that you're not the problem in the first place, and it was a role that was assigned to you. So getting some information on family dynamics. There's plenty of information out there for you to read to understand that you're not the problem. Okay, so it can have such a profound effect on you. It can affect your mental and emotional health. It can affect every single walk of your life, and you can go through life making all these mistakes, or thinking that you've made mistakes, because half of them are just normal things that people go through. But because your dysfunctional family places you in the spotlight on every mistake you make, they're actually mistakes that most people make. So you're led to believe that these mistakes you made are horrible, horrible mistakes, when they're not. So it's understanding the dynamics, okay, and seeking support for that, and setting boundaries, focusing on your self-care and protecting yourself. That is the real thing. It's protecting yourself here, and remembering that you deserve to be treated with fairness and respect. So you can start taking those steps to really understand your family dynamics and learn a way that you can start to move forward from this as well. So there's plenty more that I can say on this subject, but please feel free to leave comments or message me directly if you want me to clarify any of the details that I've mentioned today. If not, thank you very much for watching, and I hope this video has helped you.